Okay, so I wanted to talk about something here. This time, game development. Now, the first thing I want to bring up is Cyberpunk 2077. They cared more about transhumanism and transsexuals, people who are delusional, want to live in delusions, and want everyone else to accept their delusions. We're not going to, right? But you look at game development. Grand Theft Auto 4 had better water physics, explosion physics, with grenades and water than Cyberpunk does, right? If you look at Cyberpunk, a modern day game, and you look at games that came out 4 or 5 years before it, those games before were way better. And someone told me that, oh, you can't compare Cyberpunk to other games that had mechanics, basic mechanics that are necessary for a game to work properly. Really, I can't. So when a Lego game literally allows you to put a car in a road, and the AI in the game and other cars will drive around the car, right? When a Lego game does a better job at AI driving around cars, and in Cyberpunk, they just sit there like they're fucking retarded and they just don't drive around the car. They act like the world's broken. Well, the game is broken. They're self-aware that the game is broken. And you look at the Cyberpunk bugs, it's the worst fucking game of all time. Cyberpunk is the worst game of all time, the buggiest game of all time. No Man's Sky was better than that. And No Man's Sky I actually liked because everything they promised in No Man's Sky, they delivered. People had to wait. 76, Fallout 76 was a blatant lie. I hate that game. It sucks dick. I don't care what they added to 76. It took two years at least to put the content in the game. 2 years. And then they made people pay for storage. They made people pay for private servers. They made people pay for this. Really? Like, I'm never going to forgive Bethesda. And the main company, the main developers I want to talk about here is Bethesda Softworks. The people who work for Bethesda Softworks. Now, here's an example. Resident Evil is an awesome game. I love Resident Evil. But you know what I don't love? When games are so broken, you'll get stuck in rocks and parts of the floor, and you'll have to redo 5 hours of gameplay, and you don't want to do it again, so you end up turning the game off and never playing it again. See, that is a problem. That's what will turn people off of certain games, right? And that is something that is prevalent in nowadays. You could say games and the way people think about it. That's prevalent. People do not play Skyrim, vanilla Skyrim, because they get these glitches that ruin the game for them. You get glitches that destroy the game that developers never ever will fix. Modders have to fix it. Modders have to fix it. People that play the game have to fix the game for the developers. I'm all for modding in the modding community, but why couldn't Bethesda just make a proper game that had things in there that should have been in there from the start? Why didn't they make it so you had console command, you could clip out of rocks to continue without having to load a save 5 hours back? And when we're talking about games and Bethesda and Skyrim and Fallout, you go back all the way to the days of the PS3. The PS3 was awesome, free online, but you had to pay for cloud storage. So basically, if your PlayStation broke and you had a save with 500 hours and you beat everything in the game and you wanted to run around and just enjoy it, right? You couldn't do that. Your console had to be on. Your console had to be functional. The yellow light of death destroyed PS3s. If you had the yellow light of death and you couldn't turn on the console with the data and plug it into another console brand new, you couldn't get your data. You had to plug an Ethernet cable from this one into this one to get your data.
Hey, I'm taking off.
Yeah, I know.
Gotta leave the door.
Yeah, I know. So if you look at it, you had to pay money to keep your saves. You had to pay money to keep your saves. Yeah, you could put your saves on a USB drive, but who the fuck is going to do that? The point is, when you look at the PlayStation 3 and you look at game consoles, right? Gaming consoles, people that worked for Sony were so afraid of piracy, they made it so that hard drive from your old PS3, you put that in a new PS3, you got to wipe it and delete everything, including all your saves and everything. And to be honest, if I had a save that I had 500 hours of Skyrim and Fallout and I lost it, I wouldn't play it again. Why should I have to beat the game again because the game developers and the game console developers are so fucking stupid they don't allow you to have free cloud storage for your saves. Steam gives you free cloud storage. The point is, a gaming console like a PS3, even a PS5 and a PS4, you should be able to take that hard drive from the old one and put it in a new one without having to just start all over again. It's like a computer. You plug the hard drive from your old computer into another computer when you fix it, right? And then you can resume what you were you already doing, right? I mean, that would be evident. That would be the easiest thing. But when it comes to game development, why are people defending lazy game developers that depend on modders and the community around the video games that buy it to fix it for them? That just doesn't make any sense to me. Game developers should not be rushed. People said, we want Cyberpunk right now. Because Cyberpunk got rushed, that's why it broke. And you got to, it's not just the fans and the people who rushed it, right? You got to look at the company, the deadlines. We need to stop placing deadlines on games. We need to actually let the games develop and become something they should be, rather than having to mod it back in or never have the features and the potential that they should be having. And I say this because I want games to get better. But if we allow another Cyberpunk to happen, guess what? What they're going to remove male and female from video games because it offends people? Okay, when it comes to Cyberpunk, why not have male, female, other? Male, female, custom. Make your own little gender dysphoric avatar in your video game. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Do it. But when they take male and female out of video games, and then if they're added back into the game, it's phobic. How is it phobic to add male and female back into a video game where it should be in the first place? And if you wanted to get really, really technical with Cyberpunk, what they should have done is had you pick male and female, and then you can go to conversion therapy clinics in the game and switch your fucking gender around. Make it feel like you can switch it, but you actually can't switch it because it is what it is. What you're born as. But it's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. When are people going to stop letting lazy game developers create these games? When are the game developers going to go on strike and say, look you can't rush us, we're going to look bad? And they all look bad. All the people who developed Skyrim look bad because they didn't finish the game. It's an unfinished game. Things weren't in there that need to be in there. The AI gets in your way when you're trying to run. The AI and the engine's outdated. They used the same engine for 3-4 games when they knew it was bad. They knew it was bad. They knew. They knew the game engine sucked balls. They knew it, but they still used it. They still used it, and they still use the same engine. They just modify it. Bethesda, CD Projekt Red, all these game developers and the companies responsible for it, do your fucking job. Do your fucking job and put out a product that is worth $60. I would never buy a game that's so bugged where if I get stuck in a rock or I get stuck in a piece of wood, I have to go back fucking 5 hours. 5 hours. Not doing it. I'm not doing it. I would refund the game and I would fucking get rid of it and never play it again. Simple as that. So that's my little live stream on game development and how it's garbage. Let game developers bug test their games. Let them have the time to test their games to make sure it's not buggy. Let them perfect it and let them test every aspect of it so it's a good game. Because the game developers will never fix the bugs. They'll just make more bugs. More and more and more bugs and more bugs. They should have done that in the development stage. I mean, look, there's early access games on Steam. Early access. You play something, you get it early, and you basically beta test it for them. You pay to beta test it for them. Every game should be early access. If this is what the world and the gaming industry is going to be, like Anthem suck dick, Destiny suck dick, they all suck dick. have every game in early access. Every single game, put it in early access. That way we can test the game for you because you lazy motherfuckers won't do it yourself.